All right, and welcome back to episode 32 of the Alec Frengos Show. This is a sports podcast centered around NBA and NFL, and today I'm joined by Jay Price, Joey Price, and Ryan McKellar. Today we're going to be recapping the NFL season, which just finished about a day ago, and we're going to be going through a bunch of storylines that have been built up, college football playoffs here in a couple hours, and we're going to have our NBA All-Star selections as well to go along with some NFL talk. So first, we'll start with the college football playoff final, Michigan versus Washington. Michigan coming into the game as favorites, but some people are riding the Washington train just because of their standout quarterback, Michael Penix. So I'm going to start with you, Ryan. What are you looking for in this game here, and who do you got?
In this game, in general, just from an overall standpoint, it's really like a quarterback duel because everyone knows Blake Corum will go out there and still prove he's a first-round pick, legitimate running back. He carries the load on this whole Michigan team. I still think without Corum, this team's nothing. I think this is a game where J.J. McCarthy, I've never really liked J.J. McCarthy. I've never thought he's progressed at all in his college career. So I think this is a game where with all the pressure on him in a national championship, he's never been to this stage before. This is a game where this can separate. Is this dude real? Is he a game changer? Or is he just relying on his run game and on his coach that could be a potential NFL coach next year? And then Washington, there's just big storylines because everyone knows Pac-12, no defense, all offense. Have they had fluky wins? Have they had this, that? But I think Washington's legit. I think it's going to be a great game. I expect Washington to come out on top. I've been on Washington all year, so I expect nothing less from Penix and Odunze.
Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, I have very similar thoughts to Ryan in terms of Michigan's run game. I think if Washington could stop the run game, I am not a believer in McCarthy. I still think Michigan will win because I just think they're more solid on defense.
They're a powerhouse.
Yeah, in my opinion, but I really hope Washington wins because Penix is amazing, and I've loved watching him this year, so I'm really excited.
Yeah, for me, there's one thing that separates, in my opinion, this isn't a TCU Georgia game where it's an absolute steamroll of a game, but when a game like this is so close, even in the Washington Texas game, I just look at the best players on the field and who's going to make the game-changing plays when it matters. And Michael Penix, in my opinion, I think he is the best player on the field tonight. And you could argue the second best player is his receiver, Rome Odunze. So I feel like the star power on Washington's offense will be able to overpower the Michigan defense, which some people think highly of. I think Michigan's also going to be able to score on this Washington defense because, like you said, not a lot of defense. So I'm expecting a high-scoring game, but I'm expecting Michael Penix to have a huge game. He said when he beat Texas, he said, we got one more game to play my best football as a Washington college football player before he goes to the NFL. So I think he's going to turn it up a little bit more. It's hard to do what he did against Texas again, but I think he can just because pinpoint accurate, crazy deep ball. He's got the weapons to go along with it, and I think he's got the protection to slightly match up with the Michigan D-line. So I got Washington coming out on top. I got them winning by 3-7, field goal to a touchdown. Not an obvious blowout, but it's going to be a good game. I could see Washington walking it off on a game-winning drive. I got Washington winning this one. What do you think? Of course, you're wearing the Michigan shirt.
I think all that star player talk's bullshit, in my opinion.
Okay.
I think Blake Corum's easily the best player on the field tonight.
Okay.
I think Washington's O-line will control the game. Michigan will control the pace of the game. They'll go up early and just run the ball and
You mean
run
Michigan's
the ball.
O-line will control the pace of play?
Both of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I see Michigan domination.
How much they win by?
10.
Okay, so you think Blake Corum's a better player than Michael Penix?
Yeah.
More of a game changer?
Yep.
So what's Blake Corum's stat line tonight?
120 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns.
Okay. What do you think? Obviously, you think Washington's going to win both of you. What do you see Penix going for?
Penix 300 plus, and then tough because Odunze I think can hit triple digits potentially again, but Sanistril, their one DB, he's good. I like him on Michigan.
They're saying he might follow him, so
yeah, I like him, but I still think Odunze could reach triple digits. I'll just go with 75 plus yards for Odunze.
Okay.
And then 300 for Penix. It'll just be a connection with them, but he likes mixing the ball around to
So
Polk and shit.
you've got Michigan winning the game, but obviously you're not high on McCarthy, so you're kind of expecting what he is.
I'm expecting it to be
game.
close. Yeah. I think he'll be running all over the place. He's so good.
What do you see? Obviously, you have Washington winning, right? What do you see McCarthy doing? Like what? What's his stat line looking like?
Under 200 passing yards.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just going to be a Corum workload game, but I just don't know if they'll find the end zone because everyone knows Vegas will make a couple calls. He's the most bet player there, so who knows? But Corum easily, I think, 80 rushing yards for sure. And then he'll probably squeeze in the end zone. He's just automatic.
Yeah.
I feel like I bet you a bunch of people are betting him for 2+ touchdowns.
Oh, because you can't do for one.
It's
like
minus
minus 400, I think.
400,
Yeah.
So national championship. This game is huge for a lot of people's draft stock too, which coming up obviously NFL season ending. Michael Penix could solidify himself, or he could start making people decide where you really rank this guy. Is he a first-round talent and he wins this game? Oh, is he really a top 3 quarterback if, like, just pure talent-wise? It's going to be something to look at. And obviously Odunze, he could skyrocket his stock if he wants to here, having a huge game along with Polk if he decides to declare. Obviously they haven't yet because the season's not over. But moving on from that, going into the NFL a little bit, talking about the draft, a lot of coaches have been fired in the last 24 hours, but total season. So total coaching vacancies, we have Carolina Panthers, Las Vegas Raiders technically, Atlanta Falcons firing Arthur Smith, Commanders firing Ron Rivera, Chargers Brandon Staley. So there's 5 total right now. We'll go one by one here. Deserved or not deserved to be fired? I'm going to start with Arthur Smith. What do you think?
Deserved for sure. Like, if you have fantasy players on Atlanta, like, it's just painful to watch.
It's awful.
I bet
you a fan of the
twice.
team would be awful.
Yeah. I went through the Atlanta Falcons Instagram. It's just so funny on the post.
They're probably so happy.
Yeah.
What do you think, Ryan?
I think it's well deserved. They have especially in the weak division, and he couldn't even squeeze out a playoff spot out of there, win the division. I mean, he's just old school. Seems like run the ball, and that won't work anymore. If you'll just run the ball every game, and you don't even have trust in your quarterback or even your backup quarterback to throw the ball when they're in the game, then it's just a mess, and it's just a proven disaster that happened.
What do you think, Jay?
Yeah, well, I thought Arthur Smith would do a good job because I loved Tennessee when he was there, and they made a lot of playoff runs. Their offense was great for a couple of years. So I thought he was going to be good, especially with them drafting Bijan and what he did with Henry. I was like, this guy's going to go crazy, but I don't know. He's obviously awful, and then him getting mad at Dennis Allen for getting destroyed is funny too.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for Dennis Allen because it really wasn't his fault, and he took the direct heat, but
so funny.
If you're Arthur Smith, like for me, kind of transitioning from your point, I'm glad Arthur Smith kind of went out like that. Obviously, somebody lost their job, and that's the business, though, right?
Yeah.
But Arthur Smith deserved to go out like that for what he did. This GM drafted skill position after skill position after skill position, and the coaching staff wasn't able to execute. Kyle Pitts, 2021, Drake London, 22, Bijan, 23. Like, these are premier picks, too. Number 4, Drake London, I believe, was number 10, and Bijan was top 10, I believe 7. I'm not totally sure.
Higher.
He's 8.
Yeah.
He's the first receiver for
crazy.
Wilson and all
that. So, not being able to execute this, obviously your quarterback play is awful, too, which should be dealt with upon the draft time, but Arthur Smith 100% deserved to go, and they got to get, I forget who said it was either one of you two they need, or you maybe, they need a young offensive mastermind in there. If they can hire someone like Mike McDaniel to come into that and kind of bring all those new trick plays with Kyle Pitts' athleticism, Bijan obviously a blue chip prospect, and Drake London, first receiver off the board, right? So he's got insane potential too. So definitely a deserved fire, and kind of a good shakeup for the Falcons because you're using the wrong players on the field.
Yeah.
It's awful. It's not fun to watch at all. The second team, obviously, I don't even think we really need to go over this. LA Chargers, Brandon Staley. He should have been gone after last year. Before this podcast was even a thing, he was probably a bottom 3 coach in the NFL for since he got there almost. He didn't do anything really good. And the one that surprised me was Frank Reich being a one and done. This kind of surprised me. Do you think this was deserved or a little bit too early just because how bad the organization was?
The offense is like not even NFL ready to put on the field, so it's kind of hard for him to step in there year one, being with the Colts for a while and then going to the Panthers.
I thought that was a good hire.
I thought it was too, but just
didn't work out, it seems like. Yeah. What do you think?
I think he's deserved to go.
Just doesn't move you?
Yeah, it doesn't really move me, but at least, I mean, he could have shown some life with the team he had. Like, obviously, he didn't have a good offense with him.
He could have won a couple games.
He could have tried to win a couple games easily. There were some close ones, but the offense was just punt, punt, punt. It was ridiculous. Yeah. But he could have maybe showed what seemed like maybe a little more effort, and then he just almost seemed like he packed it in early, so he deserved to be gone.
That was a quick firing too for a franchise moving. I believe the Panthers also fired their GM Scott Fitterer today.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. So that's kind of deserved too. Obviously, they said the owner wanted to trade up for Bryce Young, but who knows what goes on behind the scenes, right? Yeah. Fitterer hasn't really made a game-changing move, especially if he made that hire along with the owner. But the owner's obviously not going to sell the damn team himself. But no, you agree too, Frank, right?
Yeah.
Kinda just like
I don't have much to say on that, but
kind of just a mess up.
Yeah.
I feel like if he wants to be in the NFL again, I'm sure he could be a coordinator somewhere. The next team, Ron Rivera. I'll start here. I've been like kind of preaching this for a while since the season started. You knew if the Commanders didn't have a good season, he was going to be out of there. He just doesn't really move the team at all. He's just like, all right, he's cool, but like he won't. Coming in now, the Jaguars have fired their offensive coordinator, Mike Caldwell, and the rest of the staff.
Good.
So I guess,
well,
that team making the playoffs, something was going to happen. Not major. I wouldn't fire Doug Peterson. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't change anything with Lawrence, but they just fired him, which you agree with? I don't know. Like, is it his fault?
Doug Peterson's?
No. Mike Caldwell. I don't.
Well, probably. There's something wrong in that building.
Yeah, but Peterson kind of coordinates that offense, right?
Blondie's fault.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Lawrence is slightly overrated, but I don't know. That just came in as I was looking at the sheet. But no, Ron Rivera, I think this was he was due for this, sadly.
Yeah.
Great NFL story. Panthers went to the Redskins, now Commanders, beat cancer, and then kind of kept coaching. But once again, it is a business, and he did deserve to be fired. You agree?
Yeah.
Yep.
Should they make Bieniemy the head coach, you think, or no?
I don't know, because their offense showed flashes this year.
It did. Especially with Sam Howell, who threw for like 4,000 yards and 30 picks.
And I think they have quite a bit of cap, too, from what they got to pay all the guys on defense, though.
Well, they traded Chase Young.
Yeah, because they got to shore up the O-line for sure.
Yeah, that O-line's
terrible.
Yeah, and then the sky's the limit. They just got to get a quarterback in there, too. That can.
And with them cleaning house, they hired Bob Myers, obviously. We know when they hired ex-Vikings GM, I forget his name, Steve something.
Is that the dude who took...
That's the guy who drafted Jefferson and all those guys. So, Steve Spielman? Rick Spielman? Something like that? Yeah. But no, I don't mind it. Josh Harris is looking for a big move, right? Like he said, he bought the team. He just seems like one of those crazy sports fanatics that doesn't want to sit here and watch a sorry team that he owns, right? So brings in Bob Myers, obviously a sports guru probably. People say basketball's a lot different from football. He's not drafting guys and scouting people. He's an executive. He's going to run the ownership with him. And along with Spielman, whatever the hell his name is, he's a good football operations guy. He made that Jefferson pick, the famous clip of him saying, get Jefferson on the board. Yeah. So, I see the vision. They're obviously going to hire a GM for that position, but I see big things coming for this team in the future. I see it in, 2 to 3 years. I could see this team being a playoff team with how aggressive this owner looks off the bat. But the most controversial one, the last one, not really, we all know Josh McDaniels should have been fired, just one of those awful coaches. Should Antonio Pierce be the coach of the Las Vegas Raiders next year? I'll start with you, Jay.
I think so. I mean, I think, what are they? They're almost 500 with him, basically.
Yeah.
He's doing a good job. He's taking control of the locker room. And I think it's kind of rare for an interim. Like, most of these guys that are in the interms right now, you don't hear shit about them because they haven't done anything.
Chargers.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know even any of the names of
I don't even know who the Panthers coach is right now.
But he's taking control of the locker room. Obviously, the players love him, so I'd keep him around. I don't think they have much talent.
They don't.
like at all. I
And
don't
they
think
won
they'll be
some
good
games.
next year, really. But yeah, they won games, and if he can keep doing that, I think he for sure deserves
What do you think,
a chance.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think the Raiders make this mistake twice with an interim coming in and running with the team. I think they listen to their fan base, they settle in, listen to the team more, locker room, and they sign him into an extension as head coach.
Yeah. What do you think, Joey?
I'd be happy if they kept him, to be honest.
Why you don't? I don't think he's a good coach.
I don't think they'll win anything with him. It's just they're all cocky bastards over there, and they just want to smoke their cigarettes after the
Which
game.
they did to the Broncos twice. That's
all right.
obviously a biased
They won't
opinion.
ever make the playoffs with him.
You don't think so?
Never.
For me, he's totally deserved this job, but people think that he could maybe be another Dan Campbell-esque coach, just
No.
a culture guy, pure culture guy. The team feeds around him and he kind of leads it. Obviously, if we said Dan Campbell was going to lead this team to playoffs and be one of the coach of the year candidates, you'd say the guy's crazy after his interview. But no, I think he can be one of these guys, kind of like obviously not a extreme like play calling guru like Dan Campbell is, but just a guy that's known to be the head coach of the team, culture, like Mark Davis says, I hired him because he's the Raiders culture. I could see him getting this job for sure for an extension, and for the Raiders' future, I don't know, like they obviously need personnel too. Antonio Pierce won't be able to get these guys up for every game if they're trash next year, so it'll be tough, but I definitely think he deserves this job. So you didn't even answer the question. You just said, I hope they keep him for my Broncos. Does he deserve the job?
No.
Why?
He's better as like a linebacker coach.
You don't think he's a good head coach?
No.
Why not?
Like, I haven't seen enough yet, and I guess he does deserve a chance. So keep him, I guess.
Like if you were the owner, you'd look for
Like, I don't know.
You'd look for
Like,
a
it's just
different
my
head
opinion. I
coach.
don't think he'll be good as a head coach.
Yeah, that's fair.
But sure, give him a shot.
Does Sean Payton deserve to be the head coach?
Obviously, he's proven himself.
I don't know. Antonio Pierce had the same record as him. Actually, he was above 500. Peyton wasn't.
No, they weren't.
Yeah. Post Josh McDaniels?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on to before we go into our NFL playoff bracket, we'll talk about our final award predictions. So, I'll start with you, Joey. Who do you have winning the MVP?
Lamar. I think everyone will have this. It's just the QB who's has the best record in the league. But I do think Dak should be kind of considered. But what was it? What was that one game where they
49ers Christmas. Oh, Dak?
Yeah,
Dolphins.
where it like took him out of it.
Dolphins.
Dolphins game, yeah. If he kept playing good, he would have won it. But it wasn't really a strong MVP year, in my opinion.
No, it wasn't.
Not
It's just
insane stats-wise.
Lamar was on the best team, and he did put up the best.
No, it could have been the Bills game where they smoked them.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah,
What do you
really
think?
bad.
MVP? Do you have Lamar as well?
Yeah, I got Lamar. It's just the QB award.
Mm-hmm.
He just put up average stats, but with the best record in the league on the best team. So
Yeah, I feel the same way. I have Lamar too.
Yeah, same. I got Lamar as well. Coming into the preseason, I was heavy on Josh Allen, and kind of the backup guy I had was Dak Prescott, who obviously fell off a little bit. I just think that the Cowboys have insane regular season stats too. We're gonna look back on our predictions in a second here, but for the next play, I think this is a debate. Offensive Player of the Year. Who do you have?
I have McCaffrey. I'm trying to find the stats here, but like
He had over 2,000 yards, like all
All
purpose.
purpose.
like yeah,
And 21 touchdowns.
like if Tyreek wasn't banged up,
Yeah,
it was his award.
It's
But
so hard. Yeah.
McCaffrey with the touchdowns, the rushing, also just he's kind of like the only running back that's like valuable to their team and kind of like is the identity to their team.
You wouldn't say Tyreek's the identity to the Dolphins?
I said running back.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
What do you think, Dolphins?
yeah, I still got McCaffrey. I just think without McCaffrey, I think their team one isn't as strong, and then he's just putting up great numbers every single game, just straight offense firepower. With the games Tyreek missed, just the one and then the 3 quarters, it's hard to really
Come back.
come back into that race of MVP or Offensive Player of the Year. So I think it's McCaffrey's award.
I agree. What do you think?
Yeah,
Same.
I have nothing to it. I have McCaffrey too.
Yeah, same. If Tyreek Hill played that full Titans game and only missed the game, I think it's maybe up for a debate. Which game did he miss, Tyreek?
Jets, yeah.
Jets, yeah. But no. I got McCaffrey. He has the stats. The team has the wins. He's got the resume. But I would have liked to debate Tyreek Hill. But obviously, you could say Tyreek Hill means more to the Dolphins than McCaffrey does to the Niners just because how good that roster is. But that's a different conversation. That's another conversation for a different day. Next award, I think this is a very close award. I don't think anyone's really ran away with it. Defensive Player of the Year. What do you think, Jay?
My personal opinion, I think this year I'm gonna say Myles Garrett.
Okay.
Just the Browns defense as a whole has been so good this year, and I think he's leading in sacks, or he's up there at least. There's a lot of guys you could give it to, but from what I've watched and from how good the Browns have been, especially without, like Nick Chubb and Watson, they've been so good. And most of that's because of their defense. He's the best player in their defense, so I'd give it to him.
TJ Watt leads the league with 19 sacks.
Yeah.
Garrett's got 14, so he's a bit down there,
Yeah,
but
so
no, but yeah, he's
close.
obviously the purpose of main reason why that team is doing what they're doing right now. Who do you got here?
I got TJ Watt just because of the fact that I think in the last couple games Myles Garrett hasn't done shit. So TJ Watt has been a force, arguably got the Steelers almost to the playoffs because he's just always a threat on their defense and he's getting sacks continuously every game. Sadly he's hurt right now. I still don't think that changes the fact.
It's a regular season award.
Yeah, and he got banged up last game of the year. That shit doesn't matter, but I think it's TJ Watt for sure.
Yeah, what do you think, Joe?
Like I usually say, it's usually the guy who puts up the most sacks unless it's like if Deron Bland had the coverage statistics, then he would win it, but just it's kind of hard to win as a corner.
Yeah, it is.
So I just put whoever has the most sacks, TJ Watt.
Yep.
I think I've heard a lot of Myles Garrett too. I think it's just kind of because the Browns have been
in the impact,
yeah, just the best defense. But I'd give it to TJ Watt.
That's me. Obviously, I think somebody like TJ Watt will win the award, but I'm gonna say Myles Garrett, he's in that conversation because he's had such a big impact on the team. Obviously, they're a playoff team, but Max Crosby, man, people don't talk about him a lot for this award, but the impact he brings to this Raiders team, he is so important to that defense. He's one of the only notable names on that defense. He plays with nobody else around him. He's the engine. Every time a team plays the Raiders, everybody's looking where Max Crosby's lined up. So he's got 14.5 sacks. He's 6th in the NFL for that. So but this guy means so much to the team. He is the identity of the Raiders. He went on a crazy run in the middle of the season where he's getting 3 sacks a game. And he's kind of slowed down, but he is a sack a game. The Raiders are winning football games where they shouldn't be. So I'd pick him. I think he's really super, super deserving of the award. And yeah, I got Max Crosby. If I were to pick the award, I would give it to him for sure. Other names up here in sacks, though. TJ Watt, number 1 with 19 sacks. Tied for second is Trey Hendrickson and Josh Allen with 17.5. I didn't know Trey Hendrickson had that much.
Josh Allen's been sneaky good.
Yeah, he has.
He's been very good.
Khalil Mack, 17 sacks. Obviously, that one game against the Raiders, he had 5 sacks. And then kind of cooled down near the end of the year. Daniil Hunter, who's now a free agent after a monster year, 16.5 sacks. Then you get to Crosby at 6 with 14.5. Garrett and Parsons tied at 7th with 14. So, yeah. A lot of good candidates this year. Kind of a solid year, not a super outstanding year. I remember my pick for Defensive Player of the Year was Parsons at the start of the year. I thought this could be a 20-plus sack guy, but he kind of, in the middle of the season, he kind of...
He faded.
He doesn't play well in big games, which is kind of concerning. Miami, he did nothing.
And I think it's because you said the one time against the quarterbacks to get the ball out fast, he doesn't do anything.
Even the ones that hold them, Bills, Josh Allen. I don't think he touched Josh Allen somehow. So, I don't know, kind of weird by him because he obviously is that generational talent that we all know, but kind of an underwhelming year from Parsons in my opinion. Next award, Coach of the Year. This one is definitely up in the air. What do you think?
I'm debating Stefanski and D'Amico Ryans, but
Same.
I think I have to go to D'Amico Ryan just because they had the second overall pick, and he took a rookie quarterback to the playoffs in his first year.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a huge step for a franchise that's been terrible since Deshaun Watson was once good.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ryan.
I got D'Amico Ryans too, because I liked the Texans before, and then he took them to the playoffs, which was shocking to everyone. But I think I think you can maybe make a case for Jim Harbaugh. I always mess him up, John, because the Raiders they finally got over the hump where it's like always banged up, injured, and then now they're finally the best team in the league, and I think easily the best defense in the league, and it's like they're just a powerhouse. And now with the 1 seed, I mean, any team going into Baltimore, like, you're shaking in your boots right when you step up the bus. I think for sure.
That won't be fun.
They bring like that energy, defensive swagger back. Those linebackers are scary.
It's amazing too because the 49ers people said before the Ravens played the best defense in the NFL, no debate. The Ravens just have that culture, and I think no matter that personnel, that D line, there's no household names at all. Justin Madubuike, 13 sacks on the year. There's just production after production. It's great coaching. It's a great system.
Finally got the core together,
and everything's just gelling at the right time for that team. What's his name? Maybe a head coach.
Well, both their guys almost.
Monken obviously on
Mike
the
McDonald.
Mike McDonald.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's calling a great defense. Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith is a deadly combination. Off-ball linebackers fly to the ball every play, it seems like. Who's your coach of the year?
Well, who I think will win it, I think Stefanski.
Okay.
For sure.
Who do you want to win?
Well, I mean, I think that's pretty obvious. But I remember at the start we were talking, we said, like, if Dan Campbell wins the division, he's going to win it. Like, I remember that was the talk. It was like, if he wins the division, they haven't done shit in 30 years.
Did we expect the Houston Texans?
Exactly.
Like,
it's a
so
crazy
much stuff
year.
Happens, right?
It's a crazy year. So.
Yeah. So
But,
you got...
Yeah, I got Stefanski. I just think what he's done with what he has on his roster at this point is crazy. I can't believe it. How they're competing. I thought they'd be last in the division, maybe even to the Steelers before the season, and now they're second and fifth seed, so it's crazy.
You two got D'Amico Ryans, you got Stefanski. I'm with you. I also have Kevin Stefanski. I think that D'Amico Ryans, obviously, he has done an excellent job, but I think the personnel on the field has also helped him a lot. C.J. Stroud is obviously an emerging superstar in front of ours. Tank Dell, who you called, if we had that on tape, that would be one of the most legendary things ever said. But no, he obviously emerged before that season-ending injury. So I think the personnel helped him way more. Kevin Stefanski was able to get wins no matter who's in and out of the lineup. He's done it with Joe Flacco, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, Deshaun Watson on one shoulder, P.J. Walker, you name it. Jeff Driscoll
Sadly,
played.
not Jeff Driscoll.
Yeah,
that's a Lions legend.
He was getting absolutely destroyed yesterday. But
sucks.
no, for me, Stefanski, you have week 2, Nick Chubb, maybe your second best player on the team behind Myles Garrett, goes down, tears everything in his knee. You think immediately, Brown season screwed. Deshaun Watson in and out of the lineup, takes a hit. I believe like week 4 or 6, goes down, broken shoulder, surgery, out for the year. In comes Joe Flacco, every backup this year. It's been the year of the backup quarterbacks. All the backups come in. They have 2 good games, like nice games, and then they just completely fall off a cliff. Joe Flacco goes on this amazing run, almost wins the Browns the division for a couple of weeks, and they're in the playoffs comfortably. So for me, it's got to be Kevin Stefanski. He's just coached his team so well. It seems like the players really believe in him as a coach, and he's definitely my coach of the year. On to the next award, probably the most controversial one by far, comeback player of the year. I'll start with you.
I think it's Tua.
Okay.
Because last year people were writing him off. This dude should retire. Another concussion. This dude could have CTE. They should retire for safety. They write him off, but I think it's just getting overlooked from the fact that he hasn't beaten these good teams, but he's leading the league in passing yards. He went from people telling him to retire because it's not worth it, blah, 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 to being the leader in passing yards. But it's just this is the most overlooked award, I think, because now, especially with all these fluky awards, they just give it to anybody, I find. So I think somehow it's going to end up in Damar Hamlin's hands, but I really hope it doesn't, because there's other players who came back, like Flacco hopped off his couch to play for the Browns, and he took them to the playoffs. Like, he's strongly deserving of it. I think Tua is strongly deserving of it, but I feel like somehow it's going to end up in DeMar Hamlin's hands.
What do you think?
Here, go to Chunk first.
Go ahead, Joey.
I got Joe Flacco because he kind of turned around a depressing season for the Browns, leading to the 5th seed. Well, they should win a division. It's unfortunate they have the Ravens in their division.
Yeah.
But it's kind of crazy that he's like outperforming the 250 million QB they have.
Yeah. Who's on extreme fraud watch next year.
Yeah. So I don't know who they start next year.
You start Watson because you gave him all guaranteed money. There's no question about it. But Flacco will be your backup if he wants to come back to football. He was on his couch and he only got called because he was going to be a starter. You think he'd go back to the Jets to be a backup behind Rodgers? No. I don't think he would.
If he wins a couple playoff games, I'd start him.
But anyway, so you got Joe Flacco.
Mm-hmm.
For me, who I think is gonna win it, DeMar Hamlin, cardiac arrest on the field in prime time. Everybody, the whole world was watching. They thought he died on the field. Comes back. Obviously, the game week after last year, they had that crazy kick return for him. And social media, no matter what now, I know it's over a year. Everybody's still highlighting DeMar Hamlin. I think he does, even though he hasn't played and he's not an impact player on the Buffalo Bills, he played a couple snaps. He's still got the media's attention. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to not give him the award. Would you say?
So it didn't cost it a game.
On which play?
It was the Broncos game. Wasn't it him that didn't leave the field?
Was he?
I think it was.
Who?
DeMar Hamlin was the 12th man on the field on the
Oh,
Broncos
yeah,
field.
yeah. He won us the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was he really?
Yeah.
But
Incredible.
That's awful.
I think the media's gonna push a narrative for
Yeah.
him to win this award.
Yeah.
But obviously you got to look at Joe Flacco. Even Lamar Jackson, we got to remember he was out almost the whole year last year. And if he wins MVP, I said last night, can someone win MVP and comeback player of the year? I was thinking of like Rodgers or something, but no, Lamar could even have done it this year. But I think the award's DeMar Hamlin's, not even to lose. I think it was his from the moment he stepped on the NFL field. Again, last 2 awards here, offensive rookie of the year. What do you think? This is a good debate.
Yeah,
Nakua or Stroud?
I'm on the Puka train.
Okay.
Just finally a rookie receiver comes in with the extra game, breaks a record, but still broke a record. He was putting up insane numbers. He was just shot in the dark. No one knew who he was. And then the second week or something, obviously, he like almost immediately became the wide receiver 1. Like, Cup kind of got pushed a little to the side. Like,
They say, chill out.
Hey, you're sitting in the number 2 role. You're not seeing these targets. You're not getting these yards. And then it ended up helping them do a playoff run. Because then we were all talking about in the offseason, I'm pretty sure, who's going to emerge as like another weapon on that team. I said having like Tutu Atwell or something. But then it turned out to be Puka out of nowhere. So, I mean, I think this is a time for an award like this where it's like a skill position to get it. Because I think once again, they might lean towards some quarterback bias and go
they
with
went
CJ Stroud.
a couple years ago. Sorry to cut you off. They went Herbert over Jefferson. Obviously, Jefferson had the much better stat year than
And was
Herbert.
it like Mac Jones over something or no? No, it was rookie of the year, right? Offensive rookie of the year.
Mac
It was
Jones
Chase. I think it was
over
Chase.
Chase,
So
yeah.
did
Chase
Mac
over
Jones
Jones?
win it? I think it was Chase over Jones. It was Chase.
Yeah, I
Something
think
like
Chase
that.
went
It
over
was
Jones, but people
close.
thought he was going to get it.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah.
Chase deserved that.
That's
Mac
awful.
Jones did make the playoffs his rookie year, but
Yeah.
Nakua over Stroud. It's kind of the same debate. There's always good receivers, always a good QB. Stroud, Nakua, Herbert, Jefferson, Chase, Jones. For me, since the draft, I have been a CJ Stroud guy, and I'm not going to hop off it for this one. He led it, like you said, for D'Amico Ryans. He led a 2-15, I believe, last year, Texans team to the playoffs this year. It's very hard to do. He went into Indianapolis, must-win game, didn't even blink under pressure, and he dealt it first play absolute. I think that game was just the seal-off. Prime time, winning you're in.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud put on a show, and it shows in big games like we saw last year. Ohio State, Georgia, he came to play. Obviously, they did lose that game, but he came to play at the right time, and I think this is a very close award now, especially if Nakua I thought he was going to fall off after Cooper Kupp came back, but he just said, Cooper Kupp, like you said, step aside. I am really this type of rare talent, and he showed it. So But I got CJ Stroud still, number 2 pick, came in, flipped this whole organization on its side. So for me, it's CJ Stroud.
It's tough because I think if the Rams and the Texans, if they didn't have their guy, I don't think any of them would make the playoffs.
I agree.
Or each of them. But I think the NFL do the QB bias again with Stroud. Like you said, in prime time under the lights, like, you got to give it to him.
For sure. The record's going to have some play, though, for debate. What do you think?
Yeah, I think, like you said earlier, I think if the Texans didn't make the playoffs, if they lost that game, maybe it's a debate. I don't think it's a debate at all. I think for sure it's got to be Stroud, which kind of sucks because Puka broke like every record he could, basically.
Yeah. He did everything he could. He's the reason the Rams are in the playoffs.
Exactly. So it's hard because, again, there's two. It's like an uncommon year. It's not really like this ever, where there's 2 guys who are like almost. I don't think Stroud broke any records, but still, it's crazy what he's done.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, and yeah, another tough year for my Lions guys, sadly, because I think Laporta would definitely, if those 2 guys were removed, I think he would have won it over Bijan. Because he broke the record for receptions, had 10 touchdowns.
It's not good.
But it'd be close.
Another tough year for your Lions, referring back to what? Sauce Gardner? Hutchinson?
No, that wasn't even sad. Just I was saying it for another topic because Dan Campbell, too. He could potentially have won that, too.
Okay, I got you. Defensive Rookie of the Year. Who do you got?
I gotta think.
Gosh, this is a bad year for.
I could go first. I think this is like there's not a ton of standout talent. Some rookies that look good to me. Obviously, Gonzalez got hurt, which could have been defensive rookie of the year. Joey Porter Jr. stood out for me. He's not my pick, but right off the bat, he's kind of shadowed some wide receiver ones we saw in prime time. Even the other games they weren't in prime time, he's taken on the challenge, and he's kind of broken onto the scene super early, but. My pick, I'm going to go Jalen Carter. That stacked D-line, he's putting up some sacks. He's stopping the run. He is that generational talent that we all thought he would be. Obviously not a monstrous year stats-wise, but for me, I think he's due enough to win this award, especially him being my preseason pick. I'm going to ride with it. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to say there's not much to it, I don't think, for this one. I would have loved to see Witherspoon win it, but I think he got hurt a little bit.
He fell off too near the end of the year
too.
a little bit.
Again, it's so hard for corners to win this because, like, I feel like as a D line, you can be shit for like half the plays of the game, and then if you just get sacked, then you go up. Like Witherspoon's guarding like ones already. He's already better than Woolen, in my opinion.
If he gets toasted one game,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I love him as a player. I wish he would have had a chance at this, but I think it's pretty easily Jalen Carter right now.
What do you think, Joe?
I'm gonna go Jalen Carter too. I don't know. I think it's between him and Will Anderson, kind of. Just
Will Anderson didn't really have like monstrous games, but like he'd show up on the stat sheet here and there. But I think going forward, like we said last year, I kind of liked Will Anderson over Jalen Carter in the draft, but might take that back. I might not, but Will Anderson's only getting better. Obviously, as a pass rusher, you got to develop too. Jalen Carter. He's in the inside. He's breaking through. But Will Anderson, I feel like he's soon to be developed a little bit more by D'Amico Ryans especially too. So, but no, he's not an awful pick. I think it's this one. I honestly don't know who's going to win it. Like they could just say somebody like way off that nobody's thinking about. What do you think?
I go Will Anderson. I mean, this is I didn't look into this award too much. Dude, rookies, I don't think there's no standout like that you see anywhere really. So I think I think it could be Jalen Carter, it could be Will Anderson. I don't know the scale of who's putting up better numbers, but I got Will Anderson.
I'm just gonna ride with my preseason pick, Jalen Carter. Those are it for the final awards, but moving on to the next thing, we'll go NFL playoff bracket. So you got yours pulled up here?
Yeah.
All right, here you can just go through this if you want, unless you got yours on your phone.
Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I got a picture of
the whole thing.
Yeah, talk to me.
All right. First game, I got the Browns beating the Texans.
Cut. Give me an explanation.
Oh, all right. I kind of think the Texans already had their first round playoff game. And I think the Browns will kind of be more prepared for this game. That defense. You know, like Stroud's done everything he could. I think he'll have a tough time though. Saturday.
You think so?
Yeah. Sadly, I have to put the Chiefs over the Dolphins just because it seems like every single front seven guy has been hurt other than Wilkins and Sealer. Bills over Steelers. No explanation there.
Yep.
Eagles over Buccaneers. Buccaneers, they're not very good. Lions over Rams. This will be close. I just think the Lions are just kind of different. I think they're kind of a unique team to prepare for.
They are.
And like
they can beat you in so many different ways. The offense can.
Mm-hmm. And then Cowboys over Packers.
Okay. So you want to just go through your whole bracket?
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then I got the Ravens over the Browns. They'll be prepared for that one.
Yep.
Bills over Chiefs at home. They'll beat them. And then 49ers over Eagles and Cowboys over Lions. And
Okay.
then Bills over Ravens and 49ers over Cowboys. And then 49ers beat the Bills in the Super Bowl.
So your NFC Championship and AFC Championship was Ravens, Bills.
Yeah.
49ers, Cowboys.
Yeah.
And you have 49ers beating the Bills. Go ahead, Ryan.
I got in the AFC, the Bills beating the Steelers, the Dolphins beating the Chiefs.
Okay.
I think it's a great spot for the Dolphins to be in.
It is.
Hope so.
Browns beating the Texans. Browns are it's just going to be a more experienced team.
Yeah.
I don't care if home field in Houston, it doesn't really sway me anyway. Then Cowboys destroying the Packers.
Really?
I had Lions, but I might lean Rams over the Lions. Actually, I feel like that's the only, one upset I could really see happening. I think just Stafford's got a lot of
Offensive
emotion in the
firepower.
game, and I think he'll be more composed. Eagles over the Buccaneers comfortably. People are writing off the Eagles too early.
They're gonna
Let's not
steamroll
get
them,
it
I
twisted. The Bucs suck. And then the 49ers and the Eagles, that game's going to happen, and it's going to be a great game. Well, actually, if I take Rams, but I'll go Lions, I think, actually. But that game's going to be because I want that game to happen. Eagles-Niners, it's going to be sick.
Because the Eagles will come to play against them, especially
and then
what happened.
It's going to be so sick, but I got the Niners winning. That's
Okay.
not fool yourselves here. Cowboys beating the Lions. Then
Awful.
I have the Bills beating the Browns, but I feel like the Browns could actually go on some Cinderella run.
Okay.
And then Ravens.
We've seen it before with Flacco.
Yeah.
It's possible.
And then Ravens beating the Dolphins. So then my AFC Championship, Ravens Bills.
Okay.
Then NFC Championship, Cowboys 49ers. I think it'll be a 49ers, sadly, Bills Super Bowl. I have too. I think this is a year where the Bills aren't the hot dog right at the start of the year. That. I feel like now they came from behind the regular season. They have a different type of swagger, probably going into the playoffs instead of hey, we got to rest our guys week 18.
Yeah.
We got to pull our guys out halfway through the game in week 17 because they already got the division locked or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's okay, you know what? This is our last swing at the can, I think, because if they somehow go out first round, even second round, maybe, it could be a fire sale in the team. Who knows?
For which team, sorry?
Bills.
Yeah.
Like, Diggs could be gone, McDermott, so I think they have
If they
so
lose
much...
to the Steelers, it's a
They got so much
fire sale of the
emotion
century.
riding on them that I think this is the year they prevail, but then I think the 49ers, if they don't get matched up against the Ravens again in the Super Bowl, I think the 49ers can take the Super Bowl. I think they're still one of the top teams. I get they got embarrassed by the Ravens, but when it comes down to things, I think the 49ers are legit.
Bills Niners Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Official prediction.
Yeah.
Official prediction is
Bills 49ers.
So
Bills,
you got the
Niners.
same-
You guys are the same thing.
Go ahead.
I have a pretty
Basically.
similar bracket to them.
Okay.
I'll start AFC. I have Browns over Texans as well. I just think that, like you guys said, they've already basically played in a playoff game. And I think that they've already had a successful season. I just think the Browns defense is going to destroy them. I took Chiefs over Dolphins. I do think the Dolphins can win. I'm not really moved by the Chiefs this year. I don't think they'll do anything special. But again, it's the playoffs. You never really know.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Bills over the Steelers. Not much to be said there. In the NFC, I'm going to take Eagles over Bucks. Like you guys said, I think people are writing off the Eagles way too early. And then I'm going to take Lions over Rams. Obviously, I think it's going to be a hard game, though, because I don't think our defense will be able to stop them for shit. So we'll see. And then I'm going to take Cowboys over Packers. I would not be surprised if the Packers won, though, because they're a hot and cold team. And if they're hot, they could definitely beat them.
Okay.
So we'll see. And then I'll go to, I guess, the divisional. I have Ravens over Browns, Bills over Chiefs.
Cut.
And then I have Ravens making the Super Bowl over the Bills. And then for the NFC, I have Niners over Eagles, which I think will be a good game. I could see the Eagles potentially winning that, just because I feel like they've been written off, and we'll see. I don't know if AJ Brown's is he good? Like I haven't heard much about that, but if
He'll
he's good,
play
then,
in every game.
then I think they have a good shot at winning that. And then I'm gonna take Lions over Cowboys. Going back to Dallas, I think the emotion in that game for the Lions, especially as a fan that was there, I wanted to frickin' beat up all the fans on the way home. And it sucked, so hopefully we can pull it out. I'm going to be hopeful and take the Lions. And then I'm going to take Niners over the Lions in the conference championship. And then I have Niners Super Bowl as well.
All right, so Super Bowl matchup is
Niners-Ravens.
Niners-Ravens, okay.
I think we all have Niners winning, though.
Yeah.
Hockey trade coming on my phone.
Oh gosh.
Jamie Drysdale traded to the Calgary Flames. I don't know if that's extremely major or not, but
I don't know anything about
Wow.
hockey.
Gauthier.
I don't know if that's for extremely blockbuster or I just got a notification saying shocking trade. But
It's random.
to my bracket, I'll start off in the AFC here. I do have the Texans beating the Browns, maybe the only person at this table.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that this Flacco kind of run, I think it's over in the playoffs. I think it's a little bit of a hot take because Cleveland's more of a complete team. To Coach of the Year against Coach of the Year candidate right here.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great game, I think. Super underrated because obviously you don't have the Mahomeses, the Allens, the Justin Jeffersons, even though he's not in this, the Tyreek Hills. It's a good game. It's a good coaching battle. Good defense against good offense. It's going to be good. I got Houston. I think Stroud puts on a good game. I'm just worried that Myles Garrett could absolutely ruin this game. That's one thing that worries me a little bit. But I think Stroud's ready for the moment. He's played in huge games his whole life, and this is just another game for him. I think he's super, super, super dialed in mentally. Chiefs-Dolphins, I think best game of the first round by far. Tyreek going back to Arrowhead. I really, really do want to pick the Dolphins, but I have to go the Chiefs. You just see it as a Mahomes walk-off some BS. But if I were to say an upset game to kind of cover myself, I'd definitely say this one. I could see the Dolphins winning this. Dolphins right now are pinned against the wall. Everybody calling them fraudulent. But give me the Chiefs, though, still. I just think I can't bet against Mahomes until he loses in the playoffs. Until the Super Bowl, obviously. Bills Steelers. I got the Bills by a comfortable 30 points. This is just going to be an absolute travesty. Mason Rudolph is going to come into Buffalo. Crowd's going to be rocking.
Yeah.
You could just envision a complete blowout here.
No, but that's one game I could feel like if it's a snowy game, I feel like it could go
Steelers
either
can
way.
run the ball now, so
Josh Allen, everyone knows he's a turnover machine.
Yeah.
And the Steelers aren't they don't.
I just don't think it can
Playing
happen
good
if they can
weather
get
all the
if,
time,
if the
right?
Steelers can't get pressure without TJ Watt. I think this is just an absolute
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause they won't
boat
score.
race. NFC side, Eagles Bucks. I think the Bucks are just not deserving of being into this spot right now. Home crowd's not really going to give them a huge
That's basically a
advantage.
neutral field.
Not an
Yeah,
extreme
there's
fan
no Brady
base.
anymore.
They have no fans.
Give me the Eagles. Honestly, Eagles by 10 to 20 points. I think the Eagles are going to take this. They've been to
Yeah.
the Super Bowl. Let's not act like they're a fringe wild card team.
Yeah.
They are what they are. They have the roster. They have the coach. Screw the coordinators. Not against this type of team. That won't matter. Give me the Eagles comfortably. Lions Rams. This is everybody's favorite upset pick. Everybody thinks Stafford going to Detroit. When I really, really look at it, obviously for emotions wise, Stafford's whole career was in Detroit. McVay kicked Jared Goff to the curb. I think this game does mean something a lot for Jared Goff, and I think that he outduels Matthew Stafford, and Jared Goff's the reason why. I could see a 250, 270 passing yard game, no interceptions, a couple touchdowns from Jared Goff. Big game from him because the Stafford storyline's kind of overtaking it, but the people in Detroit, the players in the locker room, not a lot of them played with Stafford. They know what it means to Jared Goff because it is their teammate, right? So I do have the Lions winning this. They're hungry. Dan Campbell, he won't care about any of those storylines.
Yeah,
it's his time to win right now. I got the Lions beating the Rams. As good as the Rams offense is, Lions, just get one stop, please, or else you're going to make me look
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah.
Create a turnover, something, because if your defense won't get a stop, this could end bad. It could be awful.
Yeah.
Because the Rams' offense is super, super pesky. Cowboys, Packers, Jordan Love's cool and all. He's up and coming superstar for me, but I think the defense is I think that D-line's gonna cause some serious problems for Green Bay's O-line. As good as it's been this year, Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, all those guys getting after him. I can see Jordan Love throwing a couple interceptions in this game. Kind of a CJ Stroud, I think he's built for this. Jordan Love obviously didn't play in big-time college games, so he's ready for this. He didn't play, obviously played against the Bears, not a super high-end team, though, in a must-win situation. Not well coached like the Colts. But no, I got the Cowboys here. I think people like this as an upset pick, but I don't really see it. I think the Cowboys, they'll win this game, and then they'll somehow choke away some game in the coming round. AFC, Ravens, Texans, 1-4. I got the Ravens. This is kind of where Stroud goes into here, and you're like, all right, this is the NFL, home crowd, super, super hostile environment. Ravens are rested up, prepared. They'll be able to run the ball all over them. Texans couldn't stop Jonathan Taylor. They're not going to be able to stop the Ravens' backfield. Ravens win that game. Bills, Chiefs in Buffalo for the first time ever besides the COVID year with no fans. The curse is finally over. Bills beat the Chiefs. There's not much to it. They finally don't have to go to KC. They have the home playoff game. And this is the game Josh Allen wins. He plays good. He's almost outplayed Mahomes in every game they've played against each other. Yeah. So I think they get this one. The home crowd is going to be amped up for this for sure, especially for KC finally coming there. I can't picture Mahomes playing in Buffalo. I can't because we've never seen it. So Bills finally break the curse and beat them. Niners, Eagles, like you said, Ryan. This is going to be a game where it's like, oh my gosh, Niners are going to destroy them, especially if the Eagles can like squeak away a win against the Buccaneers. I see it being an absolute thriller. I do have the Niners, though, when it comes down to it. Brock Purdy is playing better than Jalen Hurts, as much as I don't like Brock Purdy. The defense is better. The passing defense for the Eagles is super suspect, and with all those weapons, it won't be able to hold up when it comes down to it. But I think it will be a close game somehow. These teams always find a way to battle each other good. Cowboys, Lions. Lions go back to Dallas, where you guys were a couple of weeks ago. I can see it being the same type of game. Pretty thrilling. Two really good offenses. And the Lions, this is just whoever the home team is for me wins this game. I know the Lions did get screwed, but they had the chance to kick the extra point too. Obviously, I think it's a playoff game. You go to overtime and you play that game. Yeah, but
if that was the playoffs, we would have.
I got the Cowboys beating the Lions in this one. Another great game. If we have these games, Ravens, Texans, Bills, Chiefs, Niners, Eagles, Cowboys, Lions, those are great football games. My championship games, Ravens, Bills, 49ers, Cowboys. Ravens, Bills, just not much to, probably two of the best teams in the NFC right now, two hottest teams, the AFC, right now. Give me the Ravens. I'm a huge Lamar guy. I think his time is now to go to the Super Bowl. They got one of the best rosters, one of the best coaching staffs, best kicker, because kickers are important, like you said. And Ravens go to the Super Bowl and beat the Bills at home. Niners, Cowboys. I'm going the upset. I'm going the Dallas Cowboys going to San Francisco and they win. Dak Prescott takes the leap to the Super Bowl. CeeDee Lamb is the best receiver right now in the NFL. Stats-wise, he's putting up the monstrous numbers. Obviously, Tyreek is this season is number one overall, but right now, fluently, I'm going CeeDee Lamb. The defense is going to have to get some stops, create some turnovers. The key to this game for me is Dan Quinn looking at the 49ers and what happened against Baltimore. You're able to see what happened, why Purdy collapsed. McDonald had a great game plan, and he shut him down completely. So I think you have some tape now on how to stop this powerful 49ers offense. If Quinn can kind of envy that to his own defense, I think it could be a recipe for success. Last time they went there, they got destroyed, though. But I think it's a different challenge in the playoffs, and the Cowboys do it. Ravens, Cowboys, Super Bowl. I got the Ravens winning this one. Lamar, that defense. I just think they outstrength them, outpower them, and I don't know. That's what I got for my final playoff bracket. So our final Super Bowl predictions, I got the Ravens beating the Cowboys in the Super Bowl.
Niners beating the Bills.
Niners beating the Bills.
I'm Niners beating Ravens.
Okay. So those are our final Super Bowl predictions and playoff brackets. Quickly, what's going to be the best game wildcard weekend?
Wildcard weekend.
Most entertaining game.
I'll go Lions-Rams.
What do you think, Ryan? I'll go first so you don't seem biased. I'm going to go Chiefs-Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm going Chiefs-Dolphins.
I'm going to say Lions-Rams. So.
Of course, yeah.
I think the best game of all playoffs, though, is going to be Niners-Eagles when it happens.
Okay, yeah, sure. Last part of the show, NBA All-Star picks. You got your All-Stars pulled up?
I don't have anything. I'll pull it up.
I'll go mine first here. All-Star selection's probably coming up in a couple weeks. I'm pulling mine up right here. So, a lot of controversy because some players haven't been playing to their best abilities that have been starters in the last couple of years. Yeah. I got my picks right here. So, for the East, I got Donovan Mitchell playing super, super good and Tyrese Halliburton as my guards. Maybe you could throw Trae Young in that mix. He's been playing pretty good, but I'm not a big Trae Young guy, so I'm throwing him out there. And my forwards, I don't really think it's a debate. Giannis, Embiid, Jason Tatum. For the West, the guards is probably the biggest debate. Luka Doncic, Steph Curry, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Who do you leave out of there? In this, I do have Luka and Steph, but I have to go Luka and Shai. No. Curry hasn't been playing good. I'm going Luka and Shai. Curry, he just doesn't have the numbers to be... Yeah. All-Star Game's all about the numbers, however much the fan voting matters. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been the better player than Stephen Curry. Luka and Shai in my backcourt, like our preseason prediction, Luka Doncic is my MVP still right now. I think he's playing amazing. Him and Joel Embiid are right there together. For my forwards, Kevin Durant, when he plays, he puts up good numbers. He always seems to get in. Yeah. LeBron James, obviously, he's putting up crazy numbers right now still. And Nikola Jokic, not too much to say about that. What do you got?
I can go.
I don't really
go.
have one.
I got in my East Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah.
I don't know how much this difference, if position wise matters, but
two guards and
I would say Jalen Brunson potentially.
Yeah.
I think Brunson's good. I'll start with the center, Embiid, obvious. Giannis Antetokounmpo for sure.
Yeah.
And my small forward is controversial. I have Paulo Banchero.
Ooh.
He's playing so good. Ooh. Personally, if Tatum makes it, I'll riot. I don't think Tatum's he'll put up good numbers just because he hogs the ball so much and shoots way too much. But I think Paulo Banchero is well deserving of it. This Magic team they're above 500. They're putting up a good record. They're in a playoff spot right now. And Banchero's actually been playing very, very good.
Averaging around 30.
I think if he's not a starter, he can be a reserve.
Oh, for easily.
Easily. I think he deserves to be a starter over Tatum.
For sure. West?
My West, I got my guards, Luka, Shai.
Yeah.
I did have LeBron as my small forward. I guess
you cut him out. That's completely fine here.
I guess Anthony Edwards, shooting guard, small forward.
Your MVP.
I had Edwards in there, but you just got to start to think, okay, but it's the All-Star game. It's LeBron. They're not going to leave him out of a starter. No matter how bad he plays, he'll be in there. And then, but I also think Kawhi. The Clippers are good.
He's playing very good.
He's playing good too. That position's going to be tough. And then Durant and Jokic. You just think of the popular players, popularity
They'll make
contest.
It. Obviously, Jokic putting up the numbers though too.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, you got one or
not really?
No. That's fine. We'll
I
wrap it
can
up.
go if you want.
You got one? Yeah, give me it.
Well,
Shai.
Yeah. Well, for the West, I have Shai, obviously.
Yeah, Luka.
And then Luka.
I feel like some of these are just
pretty obvious.
Yeah.
I feel like because we all have basically the same. I have Jokic, Durant, and then LeBron. I think LeBron will get in just off fan voting, probably.
Of course.
If he doesn't start, holy shit, the league will go crazy.
Oh my gosh. The captains will be Giannis, LeBron, yeah.
Yeah, and then, I have Giannis, Embiid, and then
they're going back to West
Tatum.
East, right?
I don't like Tatum, though. I like what you said. Yeah, they're going back to West East.
That's fun.
Which is, will be way better, because those games were so good back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
And then for guards on the East, I have Halliburton and Donovan Mitchell.
Okay.
I wish I could put Maxey in there because I like him, but
He's cold.
yeah, I can't.
Emmanuel quickly.
Killian
Soon,
Hayes, maybe.
No, if they toss Trae Young in there, I'll riot.
For starter?
For
Yeah,
sure.
he's
I'll riot.
a stat merchant.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that, yeah.
So, Joey didn't do his homework. That's all good. That's going to do it for episode 32 of the Alec Frengos Show. And we'll see you next time.